Hey folks, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community on the planet. Today's Friday, August 25th. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing awesome. And in this video, we're going to be reviewing BZAM's Q2 2023 earnings. We'll review it and we'll go through some technical analysis. We'll go through some analysis of the financials and my thoughts and opinions, and then we'll also take a look at the chart and what the technicals are saying and what we can potentially expect in the days, weeks, months ahead. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or when I do a live stream. And then also just check out I just launched the Pow Group merch. So if you go to the store tab, you have to be logged into, a couple of people who are wondering, you have to actually sign in to YouTube to see the store tab. But you can see here a ton of cool products. And then if you actually go to the About section, you can click on Pow Merchandise, and then it will take you right to the Pow Group merchandise store, and there's a ton of things on there you can check out on your own time, but it does help support the channel and getting a lot of great feedback from that. Also, make sure to give Pow Group a follow on X. The handle for that is @GroupPow, formerly Twitter. Again, make sure to follow us on X. Handle for that is GroupPow. I'll be using that as my platform of choice going forward. Also, if you haven't seen this video, I just posted it. GOP congressman pushes DEA head for update on Biden's MJ scheduling review. I think this could very well happen into the end of the year and could be our catalyst that we're looking for to knock us out of this multi-year bear market and start a multi-year bull market. And we could potentially see Schedule 3 rescheduling, which would remove 280E tax burden. Safe banking after this August recess in a couple weeks, maybe it gets a vote, maybe it passes, who knows. But that's not going to remove 280E, and I don't think that's going to be the catalyst to spark a multi-year bull market, right, and end this bear market. I think Schedule 3 or higher, which would remove Schedule 280E and create a ton of profits for these companies in the US. You might be wondering, well, will Canadian companies benefit like BZAM? Well, absolutely, because the whole sector moves in tandem, right? This is going to create tons of euphoria and momentum back to the bulls in the space. But I got a lot of requests from the community to do a little bit more coverage on BZAM. So this is a popular request and me fulfilling that demand from people just asking to cover it. So it's not a name that I follow a whole lot, but I have seen their products a lot more in local stores, and I will try to incorporate more videos. It's with over 1,000 LPs, it's definitely challenging, but with all of the mergers and acquisitions and consolidation in the space over the last year or so, it's definitely been easier to track it all. So BZAM Q2 2023 financials, real quick, their revenue is 19.3 million net, and that's in Canadian dollars. And their EPS, earnings per share, was negative 0.076, which we'll look at the details here in just a moment. But I wanted to give you the numbers before we dive into the deep details. But you can see here, if you go to investing.com, there is no analysts covering it. So there hasn't been any coverage or any analyst estimates or forecasts. Generally, if it's a name like Tilray or something with a very large market cap, a lot of analysts are covering it, right? And they come out with earnings projections and forecasts. But in this case, you can see here there has been none. But EPS was negative 0.07 for the release in March 21st, 2023. So it's pretty much in line with that, right? Negative 0.076. So a little bit worse than the March 21st release. And that was for period ending December 2022. But you can see here 17.23 million in that quarter. So we are up slightly from that quarter. But taking a look at the details here, BZAM reports second quarter 2023, and all figures in this news release are mentioned in Canadian dollars except otherwise indicated. So I know a lot of people have already probably read through this, so I'm not going to read the whole entire thing so you can breathe a sigh of relief, but we'll go through the highlights. Achieved quarterly gross revenue of 30 million. And then, like I said, net revenues of 19.3 million, up 66% from Q2 2022. And then their gross revenues was up 89% from Q2 2022. According to Highfire, the company captured market share of 4.4% in Q2 2023, ranking as the 7th largest producer in Canada. And we know that Hexo was just acquired by Tilray, so that kind of bumped it up. And they executed on our post-merger plan to right-size their production platform, monetize redundant facilities, and reduce their cost base. This includes the sale of Midway BC facility, completed August 4th, Maple Ridge BC facility expected to be completed in September 2023, which should produce an aggregate of approximately $7 million in gross proceeds. Incurred a non-cash impairment charge of $61.8 million, arising primarily from the write-off of goodwill and the market-wide reduction in MJ property values, resulting in the company recording a net loss of $65.5 million. And they also achieved EU EMP certification. I think they meant GMP, EU GMP, certification for the company's Ancaster facility, allowing for international distribution of products. The company also entered into a strategic distribution agreement with the UK-based import and distribution company, expecting to supply 600 kgs of flour in each of the next 2 years. Management commentary. So Matt Milich, the CEO of the company, stated, through the second quarter, we continue to focus on the execution of our 2023 objectives to improve cash flows, strengthen our balance sheet, and streamline our operations. We have a set of initiatives underway focusing on cost reduction and revenue expansion, and we expect to see the financial impacts of these initiatives reflected in our results over the coming quarters. So we'll go through this a little quicker here. Loss from operations. Loss from operations for the quarter was $12.1 million compared to $11.7 million in Q1 2023. The slight increase in the loss was driven by lower gross profit and partially offset by the decrease in SG&A quarter over quarter. So to get the EPS, you just take $12.1 million and you divide it by the amount of shares outstanding, which is 158.6 million. So if you divide that by the loss divided by that gives you your negative 0.076. Q2 operational highlights and outlook. So they were trying to reduce SG&A like a lot of companies, right, and COGS in order to become cash flow positive in subsequent quarters. The company is undertaking several initiatives. So I'm not going to go through this, but they talk about closing the Edmonton, Alberta facility, which is where I reside, right sizing of an asset base and increasing utilization rate and efficiency of core facilities, revenue growth and margin expansion, amended credit agreement, and then working capital. And then working capital as at June 30th, 2023, the company had a positive working capital of $9.6 million. Total cash position was $3.05 million, including $0.7 million of restricted cash. Subsequent to the quarter end, the company secured an additional $1.325 million pursuant to the promissory note with Stone Pine Capital. This cash will be used primarily towards covering working capital requirements and operating costs as the company moves toward achieving positive operating cash flow. Completed private placement with proceeds of $5 million, bolstering balance sheet. And then here, EU GMP certification. On May 11, 2023, the company announced that its Ancaster facility had received EU GMP certification. The certification permits the company to export certain medical MJ products to numerous international markets and allows the company to execute on existing strategic distribution partnerships, which have already been established. So that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of that, everything that I wanted to go over. We'll take a look at the chart here. Let me know what you think of these earnings in the comment section below, but we're dropping to a monthly lower low, not really participating with the rest of the sector. If we take a look at the leader in the space, TLRY, you can see here it's been bouncing on the monthly time frame, having broken the high of the previous monthly candles, and off the low they were up over 100%, right, like 105%, whereas a name like BZAM is actually dropping to monthly lower lows. And over that same time period, from the high of last month, we're now down 35%, right? So if we take a look from the highs here from September 2021, we're now down over 92%. Yeah, September 2021. So pretty much all MJ down 80-90% plus, and names in Canada definitely getting hit the hardest. But I would expect to see BZAM respond very well over the next few months, especially with those catalysts, like I said, looming with potential for rescheduling, could even get safe banking, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. I think Schedule 3 and rescheduling is the most likely scenario. And then we could get Florida on the ballot in 2024. Tons of positive momentum coming up. But we could see, for the first time in history on the BZAM chart, we could see a weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross soon. And if that were to occur, we would more than likely shoot up to that white line there, which would be around 26 cents. And then more than likely up to our next resistance here on the price action, which would be around 50 cents, right? So it is looking okay at the moment. We are weekly oversold. And then if we zoom out again to the monthly time frame here, is there enough data? Yeah, we're monthly oversold again as well. So if you know nothing about technical analysis, if you just plop this indicator RSI relative strength index into your charts, you'll do better than most retail traders out there. But in terms of the weekly time frame, we're starting to see a bull cross here of the stochastic and the MACD's bullish. Now we just need a weekly candle close over 19 cents, and we could be heading up to 25 to 30 cents in a hurry. And then in terms of the weekly moving averages, we have nothing nearby until 40 cents. So that, in my opinion, if we start to see the sector turn around, it's going to need a sector-wide catalyst, though, in my opinion. I mean, if there's some news that comes out tomorrow, specifically BZAM, and they get bought out by a big company or something, who knows? They could shoot up to 40 cents. But, all things unchanged, if the sector turns around I think we could be heading to 40 cents in a hurry. After that, we'll be looking at around 75 cents and then $2.37, but that'll be a while before that happens. We also have the 200-day moving average there at 35 cents. So that 50 weekly and the 200-day moving average, there should be strong resistance there around 35 cents, which would be about 100% of upside from here. But we could see a golden cross with the 50-day moving average below the 200-day moving average. We're bumping our head here on that 50-day moving average. So if we can get above it, confirm it as support, and then trend back to the 200-day moving average, a lot of names starting to do it. Like TLRY, for example, it got above its 200-day moving average. Now it's coming back, trying to find support there on the 100-day and the 50-day, and we could see a golden cross in mere weeks, if not a couple months, on Tilray. Whereas a name like BZAM, it could be longer. It could be, I would say, 2-3 months, maybe 4 months. It depends, right? Because usually the larger cap names are going to run first, especially when we're this beaten down over 80-90%. Usually the leaders in the space go first, and then once we start to see them cool off, right, they get overbought in the daily, the weekly, the monthly, then that money starts to trickle down into your tier 2s and your tier 3s, right, your medium and small cap names. But let me know what you think of this earnings. Full disclosure, I'm not invested in BZAM. I own 0 shares at the moment. But that may change in the future. Let me know if you hold this in your portfolio. But going down it there, let me know what you think of this earnings report as well. But like I said, I'll try to continue to cover BZAM more in the future. But thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Power Group. Hope you have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on the next video.